While the rest of the world goes to sleep, a specific kind of crowd walks out into the freezing, pitch-black night. These are the starving, the desperately sick, and the outcasts. They travel for miles to unroll thin blankets on freezing marble floors at 3 in the morning. Their beds sit inches away from this golden box, housing the physical remains of a dead saint. This is incubation, a centuries-old practice of sleeping near holy relics to seek a medical cure, a prophetic vision, or protection against the dark. Historical records from Canterbury to Spain suggest these rituals frequently yielded the results pilgrims were looking for, sparking a mystery that modern neurology is only now beginning to untangle. The process began long before the pilgrims reached the tomb. Every sleeper was required to undergo a strict 3-day fast, entering the church in a state of total nutrient depletion. When this starvation combined with the physical shock of a freezing stone floor, the pilgrims' nervous system entered a state of hyper-alertness. Their biological defenses were stripped away, making the brain susceptible to altered states. This is a fenistella. These specific openings were built directly into the stone tombs, allowing the desperate to reach through the iron bars and maintain physical contact with the velvet-wrapped bones while they slept. This architectural detail fueled an aggressive proximity contest. Believers crowded the edge of the tomb, convinced that direct physical contact with the relic maximized its influence. This physical suffering was a biological prerequisite. By dismantling the body's mental barriers through cold and exhaustion, the ritual primed the pilgrim to experience the visions they sought. Once the body was vulnerable, the environment took over. The heavy smell of melting beeswax and thick incense smoke saturated the air, while the total darkness acted as a sensory deprivation chamber. Under these conditions, the brain transitions from active waking frequencies into these slow, rolling waves. The pilgrim enters a deeply suggestible state, where the line between a dream and reality begins to blur. The building itself reinforced this state. Cathedral arches were engineered so that even a faint whisper at the altar could bounce off the ceiling and travel directly to a sleeper's ear across the room, creating the sensation of a divine voice. At the same time, the massive stone pillars generated infrasound, low-frequency vibrations that the body feels rather than hears. These waves are known to trigger sudden feelings of profound awe or unexplainable terror. When hundreds shared this darkness, their synchronized breathing and shared fear of the supernatural created a potent group hypnosis. These miracles were produced by the architecture. The cathedral functioned as an engineered machine that manipulated biology, acoustics, and group psychology to facilitate a massive shared hallucination. The practice eventually declined as the Protestant Reformation condemned the ritual and modern medical treatments offered more reliable physical interventions. The location of the cure shifted. The sick moved away from the damp floors of the cathedral and into the sanitized, orderly rows of the modern medical ward. Yet the believers left behind these physical records. These stone carvings of ears, faces, and limbs were offered to the church as proof that the sleepers believed their bodies had been restored. While modern laboratories found cures for the physical plagues that the cathedrals could not, we lost the specific psychological sanctuary that these spaces once provided to the desperate. The survival of the incubation tradition suggests that aesthetic, environmental, and sensory cues can trigger physiological shifts that modern medicine is only beginning to categorize. The design of these massive stone cathedrals reflects a human drive to find order and sanctuary when the outside world feels chaotic or dangerous. Today, we are still driven by that same instinct. In moments of grief or fear, we look for a quiet, sacred space where we can close our eyes and hope the darkness answers back.